Hello, everybody. Eric Chessen, founder of Autism Fitness, leading the movement for movement. And if you are ready to become an Autism Fitness certified pro, Autism Fitness certified pro, that is, and lead the best possible, run the best possible, work the best possible fitness and adapted PE programs for the autism and neuroadaptive population of any age, ability level, or of course, neurodivergency, then head on over to autismfitness.com, click on the certification page. The link is in the description below. And even before we get started, please like, subscribe, and share the Autism Fitness here on YouTube. And today, in this Autism Fitness Tuesday training, we are going to be discussing positional awareness. Now, when we coach or cue, when we are teaching movement, in this case exercise, in this case strength exercise, in this particular case standing band rows, to our athletes with ASD, one of the things that we want to be highly aware of is where we are in relation to that athlete's line of sight, and also where we are in relation to them performing the exercise. So one of the things that we might be doing is providing a physical prompt or cue for our athlete when they are performing an exercise. This usually happens if the athlete is moving too quickly with the exercise, so they're not getting the benefit out of it. It can also happen if the athlete does not understand the full range of motion. This could be an adaptive, meaning behavioral, or it can be a kinesthetic, more on the neurological or neuromuscular side of awareness. So, if that's the case, of course, we have to provide that physical prompt and guide the athlete. Of course, we don't want to live here forever or for very long, because ultimately, number one, we want the athlete to have their independence in the exercise, but we also want the athlete to have their independence in us not crowding them and being on top of them when they're performing the exercise. So if we are providing a physical prompt, it's very important that we have a strategic plan to fade ourselves out of that, not as quickly as possible, but as efficiently as possible. Some athletes are going to need more physical prompting, more physical cueing than others. And keep in mind that mirroring or demonstrating, something that we cover in the Autism Fitness Level 1 certification, a lot is the supreme way to cue, as long as the athlete can follow our lead. So if we get our arms all the way up overhead, or if we're fully extending, if we're demonstrating an exercise in its correct form, then the athlete can follow along if they can, and it's to the best of their current ability level. Great. If it's not, then of course we might have to go back to that physical prompt or guidance. Now, another thing that we want to be aware of is where we are when the athlete is performing the exercise, even when we are not necessarily delivering a physical or mirror cue. Oftentimes, and this gets into the nuance, usually by the time someone is a certified pro, they're getting into this, but I want to share it because it's really important. Usually what happens, and this is a little bit of coaching drift or what we're used to doing, is the coach will stand very close to the athlete because we're used to prompting them, and standing right in front of them also. But really, over time, what we want to do is we want to be off to the side of the athlete to provide support if necessary. You can see I'm doing this little ready hands thing right here, because I might need to step in with a prompt if the athlete is going too quickly, especially on the eccentric or that extending of the band. But you can see this guy here, awesome range of motion, pretty good control here too, given that he's just started doing this standing band row independently. A little faster than we want. So when we see really fast movement, really quick back and forth, it means that the athlete is going too quickly for the exercise to have a great benefit to them. The name of the game here is control. The athlete needs to be able to control the band both in the concentric, the pulling action, and in the eccentric, the extending action as well. All right? So, in conclusion, at this point, the athlete is doing a pretty good job of pulling. Now you see me and my hand there because what he started to do was go really quickly. At that point, the exercise is losing some of its benefits, some of its efficacy. It's not doing, even though, and this is a huge, huge thing to keep in mind. This is key. This is absolutely critical. If the exercise is not being performed with best possible current ability, and this does happen a lot with our ASD and neurodivergent population, if that's the case, then we're not getting the same amount of muscular contraction and control. We can't just throw in an exercise, expect the athlete to do it, and then them benefit from it. The human body, whether neurotypical, neurodivergent, or otherwise, does not function that way. So we have to make sure that the athlete has the appropriate support from us, depending on where we are standing. Now, in these last few reps, I might step in. You see that band fling there. I might step in to ensure that the athlete's last few reps, because every rep counts, are the same as his first few reps, which had a lot more control to them. So is this perfect yet? Not quite there, but we're getting very close. You see that great extended position here. If we look from the feet up, rooted feet, hips look good, trunk is stable, nice grip, and we can go from here. Positioning wise, I am close enough to the athlete that I'm still in coaching mode, but far enough away that he has the independence with this exercise. Now, this seems a small thing, but it really is big. So when you're working with your athletes, once you're an Autism Fitness Certified Pro, consider where you are standing, how you are directing that particular set, and whether or not you can back off a little further, or on the other side, whether it's time to step in and provide that prompt, whether it is a mirror prompt or whether it is that light physical cue, in order to sustain the best possible performance from our athlete. So positional awareness is key to our athletes getting stronger, getting more stable, moving better. I'm Eric Chessen, founder of Autism Fitness, leading the movement for movement. If you are ready to dive into positional awareness and all of the other things that make the Autism Fitness Level 1 curriculum work for so many hundreds, even thousands of people around the world, then head on over to autismfitness.com, learn more about the certification, register, and start your coursework today.